Sorry about that slight delay, guys, but welcome back then, guys, to this live stream. It is now time for the final bit of action here for race 2 of IFMC GP3, the final race of the season for IFMC GP3 season. And we have a title decider for you. And if you didn't see what happened yesterday in race 1, it was quite an interesting race. In the end, Ferdinand Habsburg went on to win the race with Sébastien Buemi second and Jack Aitken in third position. As a result of Newgarden finishing fourth, Habsburg now leads the championship by 2 points because he also set the fastest lap of the race. But going into this then, Habsburg leads it by 2 points, but it's reverse grid. Newgarden starts in 5th, which is usually worth 2 points, and 8th on the grid is Ferdinand Habsburg. Newgarden has to finish 4th, or if he wants to finish 5th, he needs to set the fastest lap and hope that Habsburg doesn't finish in the points in order to become champion. If he doesn't do any of that, then Habsburg will win the championship. If Newgarden finishes 5th and doesn't achieve the fastest lap, it will go on a count back, which Habsburg will win because he's got more victories than Newgarden this season, thanks to his 3rd victory of the season yesterday at Abu Dhabi. So, as you can see, we've got 11 laps of action. The top 8 is reverse, and it sees Will Power on pole position for this one, so it should be very interesting to see. It puts Dacia Dorado in pole position to take the team's championship. That's also up for grabs. The gap between Dacia Dorado and also Jamaica just down to 7 points between them. And but if it stood like this, then Dacia Dorado would win the team's championship if it stood like this. On top of that as well, Michael Elation has been bumped to last place. He does keep his 17th place from yesterday, but he's been bumped to last for the race due to causing that first corner collision with Aravinio and Nick Heidfeld. So that's why he's down in 22nd. So, before we start then, guys, let's mute this, turn this up a little, and let's have a look at the grid for the final race of the season for IFMC GP3. Here we go then. So on pole position, it is Will Power with Felipe Nasr in 2nd. It is Robert Kubica who starts in 3rd with Lucas Di Grassi in 4th position. Joseph Newgarden in 5th. Needs to do some work if he wants to win the championship. Jack Aitken is in 6th. Sébastien Buemi starts in 7th with yesterday's winner Ferdinand Habsburg in 8th position. Alexander Rossi starts in 9th with Daniil Kvyat in 10th position. 11th on the grid is Kyle Kaiser, followed by Marco Andretti who starts in 12th. 13th on the grid goes to Nico Kari, followed by Santino Ferrucci in 14th position. 15th on the grid goes to Jenson Button, followed by Daniil Abt, who starts in 16th place on the grid. Then it's Antonio Fuwaka, who starts 17th, followed by Anthony Davidson in 18th on the grid. 19th goes to Antoine Hubert, followed by Nick Heidfeld in 20th. And on the back row of the grid, it's Aravinio and naughty boy Michael Elation. And that is the grid for the final race of the season for IFMC GP2 here at Abu Dhabi. So there's the grid then, guys, for race 2 here at Abu Dhabi. 11 laps of action, and the weather, of course, being bright and sunny. So leave your predictions, but without further ado, let's get on to the final race of the season. Who's going to win the championship? Will it be Ferdinand Habsburg or Josef Newgarden? So, here we are then on the grid then. It's Power on the left of your screens, Nasr on the right. Who's going to get the lead into turn 1 as we wait for the 5 red lights to go off to signify the start for the final time of the Season 4 IFMC GP3 Championship. As we wait for the lights to get underway. 1 light is on, 2 lights are on, 3 lights are on, 4 lights are on, 5 lights are on. And for the final time this season, it is go for IFMC GP3. It's a good start from the front two. Looks like Nasr's got a better start than Power, but can Power keep the lead into turn 1? Nasr's getting alongside Power as they make their way into turn 1. Power just able to hang around the outside. Tom to the lead, but he's gone wide. He's gone wide. Nasr just avoids him and takes the lead. Kubica goes through as well into 2nd place. Whereabouts is Habsburg? Habsburg's up to 5th. A good start from him. Where is Newgarden's down to 8th? It's not a good start from him. And if it stays like this, Habsburg will win the championship. So he's got to get a move on to go down towards the bus stop chicane. Aitken down the inside of Kubica. Will Aitken get the move done on Kubica? Yes, he can. Aitken up into 2nd place gets the move done as Ferrucci now takes a place from Newgarden. Or does he? Newgarden on the inside into the bus stop. Side by side they go. And Ferrucci gets the place from Newgarden. This is not good news for Josef Newgarden as the championship will slip away from him if it stays like this. And, well, that's that really as far as they're concerned as they go up the hill now then down this long straight for the first time today. Kubica trying to make an attack on Aitken yet again. He's in the slipstream of the British Korean. Could he possibly make a move into the chicane? I don't think he's close enough despite the fact that Aitken closes the door on him into that left-hander. So he holds on to second for the time being. Habsburg's up to fourth now. He's past Power, so it's P4 now for Ferdinand Habsburg. As Ferrucci trying to have a go at Grassi, but Grassi fends him off. Newgarden trying to find a way back through. Ferrucci fends off for the time being as they make their way round the chicane now then for the first time today. And as you can see, Vinio bringing up the rear of the field. Nasr with quite a lead out in front. Kubica basically trying to attack Aitken for second place. Holds on for now. Habsburg now on the back of this scrap. As you can see, Power trying to hold off from Andretti. And I'm trying to think in terms of the team's championship as well. Habsburg's currently fourth. Andretti in sixth position. Power in fifth. If it stays like this, Dacia Dorado will win the team's championship. Auto Jamaica won't. So, that's pretty much that then, really, as they go around the triple right-hander. They're coming into this race. Ultra Jamaica are 7 points back from Dacia Dorado. It's a bit of a task, but with Andretti currently sixth, Habsburg needs to try and get up into at least second place and get the fastest lap of the race in order for Auto Jamaica to win the team's championship, to go on a countback. Auto Jamaica have had more victories this season than what Dacia Dorado have, so Habsburg needs to try and see if he can get up to second place and get a fastest lap of the race if he wants Auto Jamaica to win the team's championship this season now then, as Nasr sets the fastest lap of the race. But he also has to ensure that Power is outside the points, and Power is currently fifth at the moment. So Habsburg will need a little bit more in the tank if he wants to try and win the team's championship at this stage now then, as they make the way round the left-hander. So Habsburg now then trying to find a way through. Andretti has got to possibly try and find a way through on Power, otherwise Dacia Dorado will be walking away with the championship. As now heading down the straight now, and Habsburg get close to the back, and Kubica was unable to find a way through him that time around. As Newgarden attacks Ferrucci for P8. Would he get the move done? Into the chicane, nearly close to contact, but Ferrucci just able to hold on to 8th place, and now brings Buemi and Kvyat into this scrap now then, as they make their way into the left-hander now then. As they make their way down the straight before approaching that chicane. Aitken trying to get up to the back of Nasr if he can, as they go down the straight before approaching the left and right-hander now then on the track. Meantime, Habsburg looks like he's dropped back a bit from Robert Kubica in towards the left and right-hander. We will go as they make their way into the section of corners. Power trying to get up to the back of Habsburg if he can. It looks like he's starting to leave Andretti behind for dust. As mentioned, if it stays like this, Dacia Dorado will win the team's championship by 5 points, I think it will be. If it stays like this, yes it will be. It will be by 5 points if it stays like this. So they go down the support pit straight now. They're heading in towards the chicane. Habsburg now starting to drop back a bit from Robert Kubica. Still keeping within touching distance, but Power giving him a battle. As meantime, a little bit of a lock up there from Newgarden as he tries to get up to the backside of Santino Ferrucci again, unable to find a way through. Newgarden is pushing hard and wants to win this championship. He needs to try and get in front of Habsburg if he can. He needs to get at least he'll need to now win the race. He'll need to try and get up to, I think, because he'll have to pass Habsburg at the same time, trying to work it out. He'll need second place once he passes Habsburg, of course, if he wants to win the championship, unless he can get a fastest lap under his belt if he gets to third. So that's that really, as they make their way round the left-hander now. They're on the track. Newgarden still stuck all over the backside of Ferrucci as they now make their way up towards the final 2 turns on the track now. Then here's Habsburg currently fourth and looking good to take the championship. If it stays like this, Nasr sets the fastest lap. Then now does Aitken with a 1 minute 49.902. Aitken starting to close in on Nasr, so we could have a scrap for the lead between Felipe Nasr and Jack Aitken as they come out of turn 1 now. They're heading up the hill towards turns 2 and 3 on the track now. Then through turn 2 and then around turn 3 we will go now then. And as you can see, everybody just kind of grouped together in a way. Grassi all over the backside of Marco Andretti. Can he try and grab 6th place from the American as they make their way round the right-hander out the turn? Is he close enough to make a move? I don't think he is, so Andretti will hold on. What about Newgarden on Ferrucci? He's going to look to the inside of his fellow compatriot. Will he get the move done into the chicane this time? And again, Ferrucci just able to fend him off on team by the camp as Buemi is in 10th place at the moment, and he's now on the back of these guys. Kvyat in 11th. For the moment in this race, Rossi didn't have a good start from where he started. In 9th, he's dropped down to 13th, dropped 4 places at the start of the race now then. As you can see, Vinio still bringing up the rear of the field. Aitken still trying to pile the pressure on Felipe Nasr if we can now. Then trying to see if he can get his first IFMC GP3 victory in IFMC GP3. That makes no sense whatsoever. And at the same time, Nasr trying to fend him off if he can to try and get his second victory of the season. as he makes his way down the straight now then before approaching the chicane on the track. Kubica within touching distance, as is Habsburg. Power losing time now to Habsburg again as Andretti and Grassi start to close him in as they make their way down the support pit straight now. Then Habsburg up towards the chicane we go, round the left, then the right, and then into the left-hander he goes. And Habsburg looking good to get the championship if it stays like this. Round the left-hander we go. It'll be an amazing comeback if he's able to do this as well. And, well, that'll be that then really. Habsburg now then round the triple right-hander he will go. As Habsburg now then slows it all the way down in towards the 90-degree right-hander, trying to find a way through on Robert Kubica if he can. Round the left-hander he goes as he will now approach these next section of corners. Habsburg trying to close within on Robert Kubica. Same with Aitken on Nasr in front. As meantime, now Newgarden's up to 8th. He's past Ferrucci on the track somewhere. So up to P8 goes Josef Newgarden. Ferrucci might have made a mistake somewhere as it's now P8 for Josef Newgarden. Let's see if we're able to catch it. No, we haven't. So Ferrucci drops down to 8. He must have made a mistake, and Newgarden is up into 8th place. So he finally disposes of Ferrucci. Next target for him is Lucas Di Grassi for 7th place, who's coming up towards the back of Andretti, fighting him out for the final points place. So that's that really. But Ferrucci down to 9th, Newgarden up into 8th place at this stage as they go down the straight now. Then Aitken trying to get hold of Nasr in front as they make their way down towards turn 1. On the track now, then round the first corner we go as they'll soon approach turns 2 and 3 now then. Round turn 2 and then into turn 3 we now go as Habsburg tries to get within Kubica if he can to try and challenge for 3rd place. Not close enough in this instance. What about Di Grassi there? Di Grassi all over the backside of Andretti. Would he try and grab the final points place of the American as they go down towards the bus stop chicane? He looks to the outside and isn't able to flick it back to the inside. Andretti covers him off as Newgarden now starts to close in onto that scrap. In time Ferrucci having to fend up on Buemi now then, so we've got a scrap between these two for 9th place. In fact, a whole gaggle of cars as Button meantime trying to look to the inside of Kaiser, but Kaiser shuts the door and holds on to 14th into that bus stop chicane now then. We're on lap 4 of 11, so we now have specifically, trying to work this out in my head, 8 laps remaining in this season 4 championship for IFMC GP3. Up towards the left and right hander we will go on the track. Nasr still leading the way through the left and right hander we will go. And Aitken trying everything in his power to get all the Nasr in front of him at this stage. Habsburg doing all he can to get all the Kubica in front of him at the moment. And not close enough to get hold of him at the moment. Di Grassi meantime, can he try and get back at Andretti if he can? Newgarden trying to get up close to this scrap as well as they now make their way in towards the left, right, left chicane on the track. Round the left, then the right, and then into the left-hander we go. And so that's that really as far as they're concerned. As they just go around this left-hander up towards the triple right-hander. Newgarden now getting close to this scrap. He's pretty much within touching distance of this battle for 6th between Andretti and Di Grassi. Up towards the 90-degree right-hander now then on the track. In towards the next left-hander we go. And so now coming off the turn, heading in towards this left-hander we go. Habsburg still not within slipstream range of Kubica as he tries to get the final podium place off the pole as they now go around the final corner and onto the pit straight we will now go. Let's see the gap between Kubica and Habsburg anyway as they make their way down towards turn 1 on the track. The gap between them is now, let's have a look, in towards turn 1, and the gap being coming out of turn 1 a half a second between them. So that's how that looks at this stage. Will Habsburg maybe try and make a pass on Kubica in towards the chicane? He's closer than the last lap, but I don't think he's still within the range he needs to be to try and pull a pass. So he's going to stay behind him for the moment. Di Grassi's now dropped back a bit from Andretti, so unable to challenge him into the bus stop on this lap as he tries to break that a little bit later than Andretti into the corner. Meantime, Ferrucci again having to fend up because Buemi now looks to the inside of Santino. Ferrucci will he get the move done into the bus stop? Again, Ferrucci fends off. Kvyat now right onto the back of this scrap himself as they now come out of the chicane and up towards the left-hander we will go on the track. Down the straight now, the Di Grassi trying to get hold of Andretti down this long straight. Will he be able to get the move done? Newgarden now all over this battle. Down the straight we go, heading in towards the left and right-hander. Will Di Grassi get hold of Andretti? He's going to defend, in fact, because he feels the pressure from Newgarden. Newgarden breaking later than Di Grassi. It's now become a three-way scrap for 6th place, and at the same time, all three of them are starting to close in on Will Power as well for 5th place. So that's that really as far as they're concerned. Heading down the support pit straight towards the chicane on the track. And so that's that then. And so now down towards the chicane. As you can see, Andretti fending off from Di Grassi. Can feel the pressure from the Brazilian. Di Grassi possibly thought about going for a dive down the inside, but wasn't able to do so. And that's that really as far as they're concerned. Newgarden still stuck behind the pair of them like glue at this stage. So Habsburg now getting close within the slipstream of Robert Kubica as these two fight it out for third place. But still, he's not quite there yet to possibly pull a pass on him. Aitken not really closing now onto Nasr, as it looks like Kubica is now starting to chase him down for second place. So Kubica wanting to take second from the British Korean if he can, up towards the second to last turn. We will go on the track now then, as they will now approach the final corner. Habsburg though, as you can see, round the final turn, as Nasr starts lap 6 of 11, so 6 laps remaining in this championship, as in this Season 4 championship. As meantime, now back to this battle for 6th place between Andretti, Di Grassi and Newgarden. Newgarden closer to Di Grassi than what Di Grassi is on Andretti. Di Grassi defends the inside. Newgarden trying to pile the pressure on Di Grassi for 7th place as they come out of turn 1 now then. Up towards turns 2 and 3 we will go. Round turn 2. And then up towards turn 3 we will go. Will Newgarden get the move done on Lucas Di Grassi as they go down the hill towards the bust-up chicane? Di Grassi, Newgarden in the slipstream. He's got to look to the inside. Will he try and dive it? No, just didn't have the momentum. Di Grassi was still stuck behind Andretti's slipstream. Now in the meantime, Kvyat doesn't even think about a move on Buemi, surprisingly. He remains single file behind him into the bust-up chicane as these two fighting out for 10th. As looks like Ferrucci's being left for dust now, it must be said, as they go around the left-hander on the track. Meantime now then, Aitken still trying to close up onto Nasr if he can, as they make their way into these next section of corners. Round the left and then into the right-hander we will go, as they come off the turn using a tad bit of curb on the outside there then. As meantime, Di Grassi just comes off the turn, heading down this support pit straight now. To Di Grassi doing all he can to get hold of Andretti in front of him now, and as they fight it out for 6th place. But Newgarden trying everything he can to get hold of Di Grassi. Di Grassi again going defensive, can feel the pressure from Josef Newgarden's Dacia Dorado. Into the chicane we go, round the left, then the right, and then into the left-hander we will go. And as they will now come up towards the 90-degree left-hander on the track, using a tad bit of curb on the outside now then, as they make their way down towards the triple right-hander we go. And Newgarden really needs to get a move on, otherwise the championship will slip away for the American. Round the right and then into the left-hander we go, as they now approach these next section of corners. Aitken now starting to create a gap between himself and Kubica, as Aitken now focuses on Nasr again. He's getting close to the back of the Brazilian as he looks to fight for the lead from him now. Then as they go down the pit straight now then, 5 laps to go for Felipe Nasr. He starts lap 7 of 11 here at Abu Dhabi. In towards turn 1 we go. The gap between them is now, let's have a look, coming out of turn 1, heading up towards turns 2 and 3, 0.8 seconds is the gap between them. So that's how it stands at this stage as they make their way around the long swooping right-hander, heading down the hill towards the bust-up chicane now then. And it's getting quite close between the pair of them. Meantime, look at Di Grassi now then, all over the backside of Marco Andretti. Will he get the move done? Into the chicane, he flicks it in the inside. Will he get the move done? There's a gap down the inside. Has Di Grassi pulled the move off? And yes, he has. Di Grassi up into 6th place. He gets into the points and passes Andretti with ease. And now Newgarden wants a piece of Marco Andretti for 7th. Coming out of the left-hander we go, heading down this long straight now then. Marco with a little bit more traction than what Josef Newgarden has at the moment as they come down the long straight before approaching the left-right chicane on the track now then, as they make their way up towards this section of corners. Andretti going defensive, he can feel the pressure from Josef Newgarden through the left, then the right, and so now heading out of the turn now, they're heading down the straight before approaching the next chicane on the track. And so that's that for them really. Habsburg trying to get hold of Kubica in front as they fight it out for 3rd place now then in this race, as it looks like he's closing back in onto Aitken. And in fact, Habsburg's not far, so it could even turn out to be a 4-way scrap for the lead. Aitken still within touching distance of Felipe Nasr at the moment as they make their way towards the hotel section of the course. Round the right and then into the left-hander we will go. So now they've just come off the turn down and into the next left-hander we go. coming out of the turn in towards the final 2 corners on the track now then. Into the second to last corner and up towards the final corner goes Aitken and Nasr. Round the final corner and onto the pit straight we will go. Let's see what the gap is like between Aitken and Nasr. This time by 4 laps to go in this Season 4 Championship. Is on lap 8 of 11 into turn 1. The gap between them is now, let's have a look, into the next corner. It's 0.7 seconds. So Aitken has taken a 10th out of Nasr's lead from the last lap. So it's getting close that time round. Meantime, here's the battle for 7th. Can Newgarden attack Andretti into the bus stop now then? As they make their way around the swooping right-hander. It doesn't look like Newgarden's close enough to put an attack on him at this stage now then. And they will now approach the chicane on the track. Newgarden not close enough to put a pass on him at this stage. He brakes a little bit later than his fellow compatriot, but still unable to find a way through at this stage of the race. As they make their way around the long swooping left-handed hairpin. Heading down the straight we will go on the track. As Newgarden now, they're trying to pile the pressure on Marco Andretti if he can now then, as they will soon approach the chicane on the track. As you can see, Andretti defending the inside, can still feel the pressure from Josef Newgarden through the left and then into the right-hander we will go. Newgarden now then doing all he can to get back past on Marco Andretti. As they now come down the support pit straight, Newgarden looks to be in the slipstream of Marco Andretti now then. He's getting closer now then. He goes to the outside. Will he flick it to the inside, into the corner? And that might be a perfect move from that is a beautiful move from Josef Newgarden. What a move from the American. He just found a gap on the outside, broke that a little bit later, and up into 7th place goes Josef Newgarden. And if he doesn't win the championship, surely that should be up for overtake of the season. That was possibly one of the best moves I've seen from Josef Newgarden, not only in IFMC GP3, but I think the whole racing career he's done in the top class and even in IndyCar as well. That was just the perfect textbook pass by Josef Newgarden to get up into 7th place. A fantastic pass from the American. Next target is a bit of a gap, is Lucas Di Grassi for 6th place now then, as they make their way through the second to last corner. And, well, Newgarden is still on a mission, even if it's getting a little bit more tricky. 3 laps to go in race 2 here at Abu Dhabi. As you can see, it's still 0.7 seconds between Nasr and Aitken. Aitken's still trying to find just a few more attempts to shave off so he can mount an attack on Felipe Nasr in front of him at the moment, as they make their way into the bus stop chicane now then on the track for the 3rd to last time. And now up towards the hairpin we will go around the left-hander as they make their way down the straight, as Aitken now then looked like he got a little bit more traction than what Nasr had coming off that turn, as he now comes down the straight. And will Aitken maybe try and pile the pressure on if he can now then? Habsburg's dropped back a bit from Robert Kubica, but he doesn't really need to attack him, because if he knows if he stays where he is, he will win the championship. As now round the right-hander, Aitken trying to get a little bit extra than what Nasr had coming off that turn, but he doesn't seem to have the slipstream like Newgarden had on Andretti a lap ago. Now up towards the chicane we will go. Aitken still trying to get the lead from Nasr in this race. Up towards the left, then the right, and then into the left-hander we will go on the track, as Aitken piles the pressure on Felipe Nasr. Out of the turn now, then using a tad bit of curb on the outside, as they'll soon approach the triple right-hander now then. And so now up towards this 90-degree right-hander we will go. As they come off the turn, Aitken looked like he broke that a little bit later than what Nasr did going into the entrance of that turn. As now they make their way around this left-hander, and Aitken still trying to pile pressure on Nasr as best as possible, as Newgarden now starts to close in on Lucas Di Grassi for 6th place. He's starting to leave Andretti for dust now at this part of the race. Buemi starting to lose time to Ferrucci at the moment in this race, as Newgarden makes his way round the second to last corner now, and up towards the final corner goes Josef Newgarden as he tries to get hold of Lucas Di Grassi in front of him at this stage, as they make their way down towards turn 1. And then through turns 2 and 3, and look how close Aitken is now onto the back of Nasr. Now, can he try and attack for the lead now? Then as I go around the swooping right-hander down the hill we go. Aitken in the selection of Nasr. Can he get the move done into the chicane? Down the inside goes Aitken. Has he got the move on Nasr? Nasr trying to stick with him now then. The pair of them go side by side through the bus stop. And he has done. Jack Aitken leads race 2 here in Abu Dhabi. He takes the lead on the penultimate lap of the race. Jack Aitken leads here in Abu Dhabi. Now, is he going to look for his first victory in IFMC GP3 at the final race of the season? And they're pretty much doing what Willows Racing did last season. I think Rossi won the last race in season 3 last season, and it looks like Aitken's going to replicate that this season. Willows Racing haven't won a race this season. It looks like they could do it, but Nasr is still putting Aitken on the pressure. As you can see, Aitken went defensive into that chicane there. Nasr not giving up on the lead as they come out of the chicane now. They're heading down the straight now then before approaching the first 3 corners of the support pit straight. Kubica now right into this scrap as well. This is amazing stuff. What an amazing final race this has turned out to be for IFMC GP3. Pretty much showing the GP2 guys up from the previous race earlier, as now Nasr unable to find a way through on Aitken that time by, and it looks like Aitken might start to stretch the lead out a little bit, as now Kubica wants to attack Nasr for second place in this race now then, as they make their way in towards these next section of corners on the track now then. And that's that really as far as they are concerned. And so that's that really. Newgarden still with a bit to do to try and catch Grassi. Sorry about that, as now Newgarden looking like he's running out of time, because round the final few corners we go. It is going to be Jack Aitken who is going to start his final lap here at Abu Dhabi. And what a race it's been for Aitken. He started in, I think it was 3rd place on the... No, it wasn't. He started all the way down in 6th place. Made a fantastic start to get up to 2nd at the start of the race. And was just piling Nasr all the way through. And finally got him on the penultimate lap. And if he can just keep this up, he's looking good to take his first ever IFMC GP3 victory. Willows Racing's first since her ref last season. As meantime now, Kubica starting to pile Nasr for 2nd place. But unable to get the move into the bus stop chicane now then. Habsburg also on the back as well. Just a few meters left for Habsburg to win the championship if it stays like this. Newgarden needs a lot of luck from the 3 guys in front to be able to win the championship this season. But at this stage, if it stays like this, Dacia Dorado will win the team's championship either way. Or Jamaica will not be able to do it. And Dacia Dorado, if it stays like this, will win the team's championship by 6 points out of Auto Jamaica. As they come down the pit straight now, they Kubica trying to attack Nasr. At the same time, Habsburg trying to attack Kubica as well. This could really change the championship if Habsburg were to mess up here and take out a few cars with him. Coming out of the chicane now, then we go as they come down the straight towards... As it will go towards the chicane now then on the track. Look at Kubica. Has he got a run on Nasr into the next chicane now then? Nasr defends the inside. Will Kubica find a gap on the outside? No, he can't. He hangs back and Nasr just fends off for the moment. And I think that was Kubica's possible last chance in trying to get Nasr for 2nd place, and probably Newgarden's last bet in trying to grab the championship this season then. But they're still fighting. Kubica's still trying to see if he can find a weak point in Nasr's driving on the final few laps of the race, as they make their way around the triple right-hander for the final time today. But meantime, here's Jack Aitken as he comes onto the hotel section for the final time today. It's been an amazing season of IFMC GP3 and Willows Racing ending the season as they did last season. Round the second to last corner, up towards the final corner goes Jack Aitken, and after an amazing penultimate lap, it is going to be Jack Aitken who wins race 2 here at Abu Dhabi. Congratulations to him and the Willows Racing team. He even sets the fastest lap as well. He takes his first ever IFMC GP3 victory. What a result. Nasr crosses the line 2nd, Kubica crosses the line 3rd, Habsburg crosses the line in 4th, and as a result of that, Ferdinand Habsburg is the season 4 IFMC GP3 champion. Well done to Ferdinand Habsburg. What an amazing comeback from him in the final weekend to take the championship away from Josef Newgarden. What a result. Habsburg is the new champion. 5th place goes to Will Power. Dacia Eldorado takes the team's championship. Either way, Grassi finishes in 6th. Newgarden 7th, missing out of the championship. 8th for Andretti, 9th for Ferrucci, 10th for Buemi. Kvyat 11th, App 12th, Rossi 13th, Kaiser 14th, Button 15th, Kari 16th, Fawako 17th, Elation 18th, Hubert 19th, Davison 20th, Heidfeld 21st, and an engine failure for Aerovinio, but he's just going to make it in at the end. In the end there, so Aerovinio will cross the line in 22nd and he'll pull off just after the checkered flag. But there you have it then. After all of that, Jack Aitken takes his first ever IFMC GP3 victory. But it's Ferdinand Habsburg who's the Season 4 IFMC GP3 champion, with Dacia Eldorado wrapping up their first ever team's championship as well. So there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here is the results of the final race of the season of IFMC GP3 for Season 4. Jack Aitken won the race with Felipe Nasr in 2nd, Robert Kubica 3rd, Ferdinand Habsburg 4th. He is the brand new champion. Will Power 5th, which was enough for Eldorado to wrap up the team's championship. Lucas Di Grassi rounds out the points in 6th. Josef Newgarden 7th, just missed out on the championship, led it for a majority. But if he does come back in GP3 next season and doesn't get loaned out by Etihad, I'm sure he'll come back even stronger. That's if Etihad plan to put him back in GP3 for next season. Marco Andretti finishes in 8th, Santino Ferrucci 9th, followed by Sébastien Buemi 10th, Daniil Kvyat 11th, Daniil at 12th, Alexander Rossi 13th, Kyle Kaiser in 14th position. If you scroll down the rest of the field, it was Jenson Button 15th, Nico Kari 16th, Antonio Fawako 17th, Michael Elation in 18th, Antoine Hubert 19th, with Anthony Davidson 20th, Nick Heidfeld 21st, and last but not least, we have Aerovinio in 22nd and last, thanks to his engine failure on the final lap. So let's see who set the fastest lap of the race then, who's going away with the final bonus point, and it was Jack Aitken with a 1 minute 49.680, so along with the 6 points he gets for victory, he also gets the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. He was 1/10 quicker than this season's runner-up, Josef Newgarden, in the end. So there you have it then, guys. That has been it for IFMC GP3 this season. It's not the last time you'll see these guys. They'll be back for their end of season test in a fortnight's time. Not Willows Racing, of course, because Willows Racing and Willows Grand Prix are banned from the GP2 and GP3 end of season test due to their part in making a miscalculation on Martini's budget at the beginning of the season. So you won't be seeing them. So 10 teams will be taking part in GP2 and GP3 end of season tests. But until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you enjoyed it. That has been it for today's live stream. What an exciting day of action. 2 champions were crowned in the form of Felix Rosenquist in IFMC GP2 and Ferdinand Habsburg in IFMC GP3. A fantastic result, nonetheless. But there you have it then, guys. That has been it. I hope you enjoy it. The podium for GP3 is coming your way just after this. But that has been it. I hope you've enjoyed it. We will see you then, guys, tomorrow at 1 PM BST for the final race of the season for IFMC GP2. Their sprint race, of course. And, of course, we'll have the 55-lap Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which sees Daniel Ricciardo on pole position ahead of Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. So, until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you enjoyed it. As mentioned, the GP3 podium is coming your way just after this. But until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you enjoyed it. So thank you very much for watching. I've been JWF1, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the final bits of action here at the Yas Marina Circuit. Until then, take care and enjoy the podium. Congratulations to Ferdinand Habsburg on winning the championship, and congratulations to Dacia Eldorado Jr. for securing the team's championship. Until then, take care and enjoy the podium.